Okay, sorry about that. Felt like I was gonna make a comeback. Um, Sorry, it just happened with the lap band. Feeling a little better now. But Christy, she's also bipolar, and she, when I was on Abilify, I became a zombie, and honestly, it took me about a year to realize, and I only realized it after my mom brought it up, because I was living with my parents at the time, and she was like, you don't laugh, you don't smile, you don't cry, you're just not you, because normally, in the real world, in my real life, I'm always cracking jokes. I'm always being sarcastic and, trying to make somebody laugh, especially if they're just feeling indifferent or not very happy. I always want to make them laugh because laughter is the best medicine. And, but I stopped being that way, and my mom was like, you have to do something. I basically saying, she wants the old me back. And so I was like, yeah, you're right. I have felt very numb. And so that's when I changed to the Geodone. And the Geodone at first, it worked a little better. I could, those emotions came back to happiness. I was able to go up and down, not just stuck at okay and numb, which I want. I want to be happy, but I want to be sad at times. It wouldn't be normal for me to never be sad or never be happy. Maybe even a little manic happy. That's normal. Normal people sometimes get a little tinge of mania when they get very excited, or a tinge of depression when they're sad. That's normal emotion. And the whole point of being medicated and taking these medications, the whole goal is to feel normal. And people always want to say, well, what is normal? But if you ever in your life experience bipolar, depression, severe depression, things such as that, there is a normal, and you'll know when you're there. And don't let anybody tell you differently, that normal is, what you make it. There is a normal, and it's very hard to explain, but you'll know when you're there. And, you'll feel very regulated, oh, I can be happy, maybe sometimes a little too happy. I can be sad, maybe a little too sad, but it's not, when I'm sad, it's not the end of the world, and when I'm happy, the rest of the world does matter. And, a lot of the times with mania, we're so up, we get irritable, and that's not normal. That doesn't happen with your normal. That's not to say that now that I'm on medications, none of that has ever happened. There have been times where I laid in bed, or I'd failed a test or something, and I was like, if I was driving down the road tomorrow and an 18-wheeler swerved into my lane and hit me head on and just accidentally killed me, that would be okay. I would be okay with that. I've had thoughts like that. I didn't personally want to take my life, and, I didn't want to kill myself, but, if some natural, accident happened that took my life, I wouldn't be upset over it. No, I'm not saying I feel that way right now. No, not at all. I'm quite happy with my life. I feel very positive about my life right now, and I do want to continue the direction I'm going. and I'll get to that maybe later. Um, and then I've also been so manic that I was irritable and spent money irresponsibly. I've still done that on my medication. You know, bipolar and medication is not an forever fix. Um, you know, going into it, you have to know that the highs, the too high and the too low, can still come around. It's a possibility. They're not gone for good. But with the medication and strategies that you learn through being well managed will help you get through those times. And but and the other day, Christy, she saw me writing tons and tons of stuff in my planner, and after class, I picked up a photography magazine that the school buys en masse, and the photography department buys several copies of, and then sets it out for us to take free. And I picked one up because I saw her pick one up, and then I was like, hey, will you put this in my backpack? I was holding her drink, so she had free hands, and I was like, well, would you put this in my backpack? And she was like, will you, and then she saw how full my backpack was, and she was like, you have to teach me how you stay organized. And I was like, oh, yeah, totally, because I feel like I have an absolutely wonderful system that's very unique. It's a little extensive and perhaps to some people excessive, but when you have the learning disabilities and the bipolar and the mental setbacks, not deficiencies but setbacks, because they can be overcome no matter what they are. But I have a very unique system, and so one day, I think it was after that class, I was sitting in my biology class, and then we're just going over the syllabus, and I started writing down my techniques, and added to them later that day and the next day, and then I rewrote them the next night, and then gave them to her yesterday in class, and she was like, oh wow, cool. And it's like 11 things, 11 paragraphs, like I wrote like this much, but my handwriting is pretty big, so maybe it wasn't like too terribly much, but my handwriting's really big, so it looked like a lot. I hope she can read it all, and I tend to write really close together. My words kind of run into each other. Yeah, so I hope she can read it. But yeah, that's and maybe one day I still have the list, the one that I recopied, and I'll probably make another video to how to study with learning disabilities and mental illness. Because like I said, I feel like I have a really great system. I've been perfecting this system over, pretty much the last 20 years since, I started school. Ever since I've been in school. My mom learned early on, after I was diagnosed with attention deficit, that routine and structure are very beneficial to someone with ADD. And so my mom ran with that and kept me very structured, and we had a very strict routine. Like dinner somehow was always presented around the same time. Studying was always around the same time. Nighttime baths were always around the same time, unless when I got older and I showered in the morning. And then bedtime was always around the same time my entire life. And, until I got into college, and then I had to make those decisions, and my mom tried to tell me, stick to your routine, and I didn't listen, and then it proved to be a failure. not listening to her. But now I've gotten back on that system, and, you know, I eat around the same time. I take showers in the morning around the same time. You know, pretty much I wake up, maybe make some coffee, and then maybe get on Facebook for just 5 minutes, and then hop in the shower and start getting ready. And then, you know, dinner's around the same time, depending on what I'm making and how long it's going to take, and all that depends on when I start dinner, but I always normally eat around the same time. And then I take my 7 o'clock meds around 7 o'clock, and then from there I either finish eating if I'm still not done. It does take me a long time to eat, or I go to bed. And, you know, like I said, this is my routine. I stick to it every day. You know, if you're a parent of ADD, bipolar, or anything like that, I will vouch for the routine and schedule system. Also, I'll just put that in another video, about studying and all that. So I'm going to end this right now. I need to go take my laundry out of the washer and put it into the dryer. So I'm going to end this video and be done with that for right now. Alright, bye.